Hello everyone, I am Azam Khan from Line King 853 channel, and today we are going to compare the specs and features of S5 with Note 3. So in this comparison I am going to discuss about display, hardware, battery, ports, speakers, design and dimensions of these phones to see whether it's viable to get S5 instead of Note 3 or not. So guys, first of all, when you talk about the display of these devices, S4 and Note 3 have Full HD Super AMOLED display with 1920 by 1080 resolution. Note 3 is stepped up with 5.8 inches of Super AMOLED Full HD display that supports 386 pixels per inch, whereas S5 have 5.1 inches of Super AMOLED Full HD display that supports 432 pixels per inch. Despite the fact S5 have better pixels per inch than Note 3, it's really hard to see a big difference between the display of these devices, as they look crystal clear while watching movies and playing games. Now we will check out the display brightness of these devices, and for that we have to maximize the brightness on both of them. And now we are going to open up an integrated browser of Note 3 Snapdragon 800 variant and S5 Octa. So guys, here you can clearly witness that whites are looking better on S5 Octa as compared to Snapdragon 800 Note 3. So whites are slightly better on S5 and color saturation is also better on S5. So I think in whites S5 is better than Note 3, and of course this is going to help you when you are under a heavy sunlight. Now let's talk about the heart of these phones, which is of course hardware. So guys, in terms of hardware, it's really hard to find out which one is better from these devices, as one have better CPU, GPU and one have better RAM. But when we look at the specs, S5 is powered with the Snapdragon 801 quad-core processor with a clock speed of 2.5 GHz in comparison to Snapdragon 800 quad-core processor found on Note 3 with 2.3 GHz clock speed. On S5 there is Adreno 330 GPU which is clocked at 578 MHz in comparison to Note 3 Adreno 330 GPU with 478 MHz GPU clock speed. So of course S5 is better in gaming, and as well as it has got overclocked Adreno 330 GPU in it. However, at the moment in this video you are looking at the octa-core variant of S5 and Snapdragon 800 variant of Note 3. S5 Octa have Exynos 5422 chip with two quad-core processors like Note 3 Octa with separate 4 cores on each processor. The first one is for heavy tasks and clocked at 1.9 GHz, whereas second one is clocked at 1.3 GHz for lower tasks. A good thing about S5 processor is that it's going to use both processors at the same time if too much things open in the device. So in other words, if you are doing a lot of multitasking, S5 Octa will going to help you a lot because it's going to use all 8 cores together. For gaming on S5 we have Mali T6208 GPU which outperforms in gaming. This is the same GPU found on Exynos Note 3, but on S5 it is clocked at 695 MHz, whereas on Note 3 Exynos it is clocked at 533 MHz. So guys, whether you are buying Exynos or a Snapdragon 800 variant of S5, it's going to perform better than Note 3 even though it has got 2 GB of RAM as compared to 3 GB of RAM on Note 3. Now you might be thinking why I'm so biased towards S5. So guys, when you look at the benchmarking scores of these devices which I have made on YouTube, you will get to know each and everything about these devices. So benchmarking video in this video description link is a must watch for better explanation of Exynos S5. Moreover, don't forget to watch opening app and multitasking speed comparison from description link as well. Now we will talk about the design and dimensions of these phones. So guys, S5 and Note 3 are surrounded with a plastic chrome, and on the back we have a removable battery cover to access battery, micro SD card slot and micro SIM slot, and this is how you remove it off from Note 3 and as well as from S5. So here is your micro SIM slot, and just over the top of that we have micro SD card slot, and here is your 2800 mAh battery on S5. Now let's talk about the back battery cover of Note 3. This is how you remove it off, and here is your micro SD card slot, and just underneath that we have micro SIM slot, and here is your powerful 3200 milliamp hours battery. So guys, battery cover on Note 3 have leather textured plastic with fake stitches from the sides all around, whereas S5 have matte dotted battery cover, and both of them misses premium build quality that we have on HTC One M8, upcoming Z2 and iPhone 5s. So guys, while we are looking at the design of these devices, why not have a quick go at the ports and buttons of these devices. So guys, on the right hand side of these devices we have got a power on and off key, which can be seen over here. At the top we have got a 3.5mm jack with infrared sensor on both of them. On the left hand side we have a volume rocker key on our S5, and same goes with Note 3. At the bottom of S5 we have a micro USB port which is covered with this chromatic flap, and here you can see that we have micro USB 3.0 port to transfer files quicker on your PC from your S5 and from your PC to your S5. So here we don't have flap on Note 3 because this is not a water resistant device. Here is a micro USB 3.0 port, so of course it's going to transfer files quicker as well, like S5. On the back of Note 3 we have a 13 megapixel camera instead of 16 megapixel camera on S5, with a single LED flash on both of them, and here is your heart rate sensor. So guys, the speaker grill is over here on Note 3, whereas on S5 speaker grill is situated at the same side where we have it on S4. On the front we have one home button which is over here on S5 and Note 3, and here we have two capacitive touch buttons. One is for back and the second one is for multitasking on S5, whereas on Note 3 it is meant for setting the things on your phone desktop display. Another good thing of S5 is that it is certified with IP67, which means now it's water resistant up to 1 meter and 30 minutes, and it is also dust proof. So if you ask yourself a question whether it's good to have S5 in comparison to Note 3 in design, answer will be yes, because you are getting heart rate sensor, fingerprint scanner, as well as this time it is water resistant. So it's an eye-catching device as far as I am concerned as compared to Note 3. If you leave behind some of the things that we have on Note 3 like S Pen and of course lot of multitasking windows. Now let's see how fingerprint sensor works on Samsung Galaxy S5. So guys, this is the kind of feature that we have already got on iPhone 5s, and this is how it works. You can use your thumb on your iPhone 5s, whereas on S4 you have to use your middle finger, or you can go for this first finger. By getting into settings you can assign your fingerprints, so you can witness that icons are looking little bit bigger inside settings. You can also go for a list view like this, tab view, and you can go back to grid view. So get into fingerprint sensor settings like this. Now here is your fingerprint manager. So this is how you assign a fingerprint on your Samsung Galaxy S5. So this feature is not available on Note 3. So of course this is something new on S5, like heart rate sensor. Now let's talk about the measurements of these devices. So guys, Note 3 measures 151.2, which belongs to height of this phone, by 79.2, which belongs to width of this phone, and Note 3 is 8.3 mm thick and it weighs 168 grams. And this is in comparison to S5 measurements of 142, which belongs to height of this phone, by 72.5, which belongs to width of this phone, and your S5 is 8.1 mm thick and it weighs